Hi, we are the Main Street 5th grade students, and we have made a great project to bring to you. Would you like to see it?
This year, our class has learned about the climate in our region and the climate in different places in North America. We have learned that the average annual precipitation in our area has increased in the past few decades. We have observed that the creek that flows through our city floods several times every year after heavy rains or fast-melting snow.
The purpose for our GLOBE project is to learn more about Norwalk Creek. We want to find out how runoff affects the quality of the water in Norwalk Creek. We want to see how the creek data will change when there is runoff after a rainfall, snowfall, or when the city workers salt the road.
We think that runoff into Norwalk Creek that happens after a rainfall or snowfall will have a negative effect on the water quality. We believe that runoff changes the water quality of the stream because the creek passes through the business district of Norwalk, Ohio. We think that road salt and other pollution from the city will flow into the creek water with the rain and snow and affect the ecosystem.
These are the tools and materials that we used.
The first thing we did was to learn that the climate in our region is continental. With cold, snowy winters and hot, humid summers, we learned how to do GLOBE protocols. For GPS, cloud cover, air temperature, and hydrology.
The wastewater treatment plant in our city is a reporting station for the National Weather Service. We found our annual mean temperature and precipitation for 1923 through 1952, 1953 through 1982, and 1983 through 2013, so that we could see climate changes for our town. Notice the trend line on the third graph. Our climate is definitely getting wetter.
To set up our test, we decided to use our GLOBE East Elm Street study site to collect water samples. We also set another GLOBE study site along the creek of J.C. Park on West Elm Street. The study sites are located on opposite ends of the business district of Norwalk, Ohio.
Mr. Josh Snyder, Norwalk City Public Works Director, provided us with information about the creek and when it has flooded after heavy rains. The city has a flow gauge on the East Elm Street Bridge.
We took turns collecting water samples from each study site every school day for 4 weeks. Water samples were brought back to the classroom and tested for pH, conductivity, and nitrate nitrogen.
The pH and conductivity meters were calibrated before water samples were tested. Directions for testing nitrates and nitrogen were provided in the test kit. The data was entered into the GLOBE website.
The purpose of our project was to find out how the water runoff affects the Norwalk Creek water and ecosystem. We looked at climate data that was reported to the National Weather Service by our local wastewater treatment plant in Norwalk, Ohio. The data showed an increase of precipitation in the past 30 years. The professional civil engineer of our city gave us extreme precipitation event data. The data showed 3 of the top 10 daily rainstorms have occurred during the summer within the past decade. An increase in the average annual precipitation and heavier rainfalls caused more runoff to flow into our creek.
We thought that runoff after precipitation would change the water quality because the creek flows through the business district of our town. Our GLOBE hydrology data shows that our hypothesis was partially correct. The pH and nitrate nitrogen levels did not change very much on the east and west ends of the city. The conductivity levels did increase when the roads were salted during snowfalls. When the creek water was deeper after rainfall, the conductivity levels went back down. We think that with more water in the creek, the salt from the roads was diluted.
Some of the things that may have affected our data are the way the samples were collected. Our data could be more accurate if the samples are collected in the exact same location and time of day. More detailed comments that describe the water level, weather, and other observations at the time of collection would make comparing the data easier.
Testing water samples over a longer period of time would give us a better picture of more precipitation and runoff affect the water quality of our Norwalk Creek.
Questions for further study. How will warmer temperatures affect the water quality in the Norwalk Creek? Will lawn and garden fertilizer runoff affect the creek during the spring and summer months? How does the water quality of Norwalk Creek affect the Huron River and Lake Erie?
These are the resources we use for our project.
Thank you for letting us share our project with you.